You know, we've all seen those leaders who just seem to have it all figured out, right? Their teams are unstoppable, they conquer every challenge. So, what's the secret sauce? Well, today we're going to dig into this really powerful idea from James Oyola's The Helpful Leader. And it turns out it's not about what you see on the surface, it's about the invisible foundation that holds the entire thing up. Let's get into it.
This quote from Oyola, wow, it just cuts right through all the noise, doesn't it? It points out this huge trap that so many leaders fall into. They get obsessed with the shiny, visible stuff, while the ground right underneath their feet is completely unstable. And that's the big idea we're going to unpack today. All right, so let's break this down. On one side, you've got the structure of leadership, all the visible stuff. And on the other, you have the invisible foundation. The problem is, we are so often judged, and let's be honest, we judge ourselves, on the structure, while totally forgetting about that foundation.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the left side here, the visible structure. I mean, this is the stuff we love to talk about, right? The metrics, the KPIs, those quarterly results, the big, splashy new initiatives. It's the scoreboard. But then, look to the right, the invisible foundation. This is the stuff that's way harder to measure. Trust, character, emotional intelligence, how you deal with conflict. See, this isn't the scoreboard. This is the daily practice. And this right here, this is the consequence. A team that's just running on metrics might look great when everything's going smoothly, but what happens when a storm hits? You know, a tough client, a big market shift, some internal crisis. Suddenly, all those surface level wins mean absolutely nothing. The cracks start to show, and the whole thing just crumbles. So, we get it. Ignoring the foundation is risky. But how do you actually build it? Well, this next idea uses a surprisingly perfect analogy to make it all feel a lot more real. A video game. Seriously, this is such a great way to frame it. Think about any game you've ever played. You don't just show up and start at the final level, right? No way. Leadership is exactly the same. It's this journey of leveling up, grinding for experience points, and getting yourself ready for the bigger challenges to come. Think about it. You can't just walk in on day one and fight the final boss. That would be a total disaster. First, you gotta put in the time. You grind through those early levels, you collect all the resources and tools you're gonna need, and you strategically level up your character's abilities. All that behind-the-scenes work, that is what actually prepares you for the big tests when they arrive. So if we're leveling up, what are the core stats we should be investing our experience points in? Well, here they are. It's things like emotional intelligence, effective communication, conflict resolution, and of course, trust. These aren't the flashy special moves. These are the core attributes that decide whether you can actually beat the boss when the time comes. Okay, so we know what to build, but how do we do it in our day-to-day lives as leaders? This next section really gets into the how, and it's all about focusing on the here and now. This is the second huge idea from Oyola's work. It's this concept that great leadership isn't built by staring off into some distant future. No, it's forged in how you handle this present moment, over and over and over again. So how do you actually do this, leveling up in the real world? Let's switch from video games for a second to a different, but just as powerful, analogy. Think of it like you're tending a garden. That daily grind from the game, that's the daily work in the soil. In your garden, you can't control the weather, right? That's the future, the unexpected stuff that's going to happen. But you can control the soil. You can cultivate it, you can water it, you can pull the weeds. The soil is the present moment. And your tools, they're simple, but they're incredibly powerful. Your patience, your kindness, your effort. The care you put in today is what determines what grows tomorrow. So what does stewarding the now really look like for a leader? Well, it's about handling all these seemingly small, mundane moments with real intention. It's having that difficult conversation you've been putting off. It's making that conscious choice to really, truly listen when it'd be so much easier to just talk. And it's investing time in your people, even when deadlines are screaming for your attention. So let's bring this all home. We've got the video game grind, we've got the daily gardening. What's the ultimate payoff for all of this foundational work? It's about earning something that is so much more valuable than any job title. Here's the bottom line. All of that patient, present moment work, the grinding, the gardening, it cultivates one absolutely critical thing: trust.
Oyola says trust is the currency of leadership. It's what takes you from being a manager with a title to being a leader with real, genuine influence. And this slide just lays out the two different worlds this creates so perfectly. On the left, you've got positional authority. People follow you because, well, they have to. It's just compliance. But on the right, with genuine influence that's born from trust, people follow you because they want to. It's commitment. And believe me, that is a total game changer.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. Here's a quote from Indra Nooyi, the legendary former CEO of PepsiCo, that just perfectly captures the result. The leaders who do the foundational work are the ones who inspire this insane level of commitment. That's the real power of genuine influence.
And so, as we wrap this up, it really all comes down to this one final question for you. In your own work, in your teams, in your own development, are you focused on that flashy structure that might just crumble? Or are you patiently and consistently doing the hard work of building on solid ground?